unlike most people, I was very skeptical of The Last of Us Part 2 for a long time because I didn't know what they were going to do with it to begin with after the ending that we got for the original Last of Us. And, I've been keeping up with what Neil Drunkmann and the rest of Naughty Dog have been doing to promote it, and they've been doing a pretty damn poor job of doing it. I haven't seen much in terms of gameplay that looks like they've improved much of anything. It still looks like it's ripping off the Uncharted engine. It still looks like they're just focusing way too much on the story and not trying to divulge in between making a good story along with good gameplay. And not only that, they're not focused on making a fun experience because they want this game apparently to be hell. And you don't get to play as Joel. Apparently they were going to do stuff that was going to really hurt people who like Joel. And then they had the guy who played Joel say you're going to have to keep an open mind about this kind of damage control, preemptive damage control. And then you have Neil Drunkmann also going around being an SJW cunt rag to everybody on the internet who were like, hey, what the fuck you doing? But there's also more to this story before this. This motherfucker was the reason Amy Henning left Naughty Dog in the first place. You know, the lady who made the Uncharted games, who made, I think, another series for Naughty Dog before she did Uncharted. Yes, he kicked her out. He was the reason she left. Because apparently he didn't like her not touting the standard political line of the video game industry as sexist. So there's that. Even though, she's a woman and she said that, hey, I got a lot of help from men in the industry. I'm not going to kowtow your line. So instead of standing with the woman, he decides kick the woman out. And Naughty Dog apparently supported him in that. So that's a big black eye on their company. But now we have this. They know how the game has been getting pushed back more and more as of late. Well, something else has apparently been going on. People not getting paid. People saying that if they are going to get paid for their unpaid work, they can't talk about the production cycle, which is very scummy in my eyes. And then you come it all to the boiling point where a few days ago, the plot got leaked for The Last of Us Part 2. And oh my god, I read the synopsis and I want to kill myself. I want to take a screwdriver, put it up against my head, and just shove it into my temple. Yes, that was that fucking bad. What they are going to do if this leak is true. Alright, I'm not saying 100% definitively it is, but I'm going to say it's like a 90% chance that it is true. They basically fucked the entire point of the first game's story to tell an SJW's adventure because you aren't playing half the game as either of the two characters you got to play in the first game. Not only that, they make a character a cuck for a lesbian relationship. And they also destroy a fan favorite. Like I said, they destroy Joel. I'm not going to say what exactly they do to Joel, Ellie, and this new evil badman that looks like a dude because I've seen the I've seen the screenshots. It doesn't look very good. Yeah. Oh my god, Naughty Dog, what the fuck? What in the absolute ever-loving fuck is wrong with you? Why the hell, for one thing, why the hell hadn't Sony come in and tried to clean up house? Alright, if you lay in the game this much over the last year, barely had any actual promotional material for it other than, oh, we like politics, and we're not going to use the word fun to describe anything we do. You're not going to revisit or even help with remasters of your old classic cartoon games. You want to be, oh, we want to tell serious stories and be all like the men bad. And yes, the men bad, because that's one of the points that they're going to do for the Last of Us HBO show, along with climate change. Like, that's going to do anything to stop the fucking cordyceps virus. Oh my goodness. This is so much bull fucking shit. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. Neil Drunkmann. Alright, that's what I'm gonna call him. That's what I've been calling him ever since this thing popped up. You are Neil Drunkmann from now on. This is your new name. Embrace it, you fucking faggot. First, you help kick out Amy Henning from Naughty Dog, a company that she helped build, by the way. Like, she wasn't the main reason they were successful, but she was the main reason you had relevance and success in the last decade with Uncharted. You kick her out, a wildly respected professional, and you kicked her out because she wouldn't toe the political line that you wanted. She wouldn't bow to the narratives that the media wanted. You kicked her out solely for that reason, and then you help make The Last of Us, which I will say, story's pretty good, gameplay's not, and the gameplay is basically just a ripoff. I've been saying this ever since I played the games and played them side by side together, that The Last of Us' gameplay is basically just a ripoff of Uncharted's gameplay engine, and the only thing that it really does to differentiate anything is to slow it down for a horror vibe. And you also threw out Amy Hemming's stuff that she was going to do for Uncharted 4, even though her script was nearly done. And while I will say that I enjoyed the Uncharted 4, there were things that were wrong with it, especially not having any Amy Henning stuff worked with. So, there's that. And then you come around and you do all this shit in the meantime in between production of The Last of Us 1 and The Last of Us 2, and you... Basically, this dude's the new Grey Haddock. Okay, you remember Grey Haddock from Rooster Teeth? Overworked the entire Rooster Teeth animation department to work on his shitty show in Genlock and got fired for it because even though that they weren't going to fire him, the Rooster Teeth got a lot of flack for defending him, and they got rid of him only because people got pissed off that he was making everybody go into crunch time. And this is a big problem with the gaming industry as a whole right now, is we are having more and more stories come out about crunch and just stupid deadlines done by either done by developers or by production companies. This type of shit is rampant. And Neil Drunkmann decided, hey, we're gonna crunch too. I'm gonna treat you people like shit. All of my underlings, bow to me. I control whether or not you get a paycheck. So you better kowtow to whatever the fuck I say. And if you do want a paycheck for the unpaid overtime that you worked, you have to sign a little waiver saying that you can't talk about the actual production cycle. It's so scummy. And not only that, apparently Anita actually was one of the main reasons. You know how people got pissed off when Anita visited BioWare and EA a couple years ago while BioWare was developing Anthem, and people got really pissed off about it? Well, apparently Naughty Dog was like, hey, get Anita in here. We'll take her away. We'll do whatever the fuck she wants to do. And that's apparently the reason why the story is turning out the way it is. Right? Like I said, I'm not going to spoil it. It's an SJW story. So you can bet that it destroys not only the internal logic of the universe, because when has SJWs ever cared about the internal logic of a universe? They also don't care about male characters, so that's one of the reasons Joel's being pushed to the side, and why they're focusing on this lesbian cuck relationship, and why this main bad guy is apparently a transgender. Because when you're in the fucking post-apocalyptic society, trans issues are obviously the big issue that we're going to have to worry about, right? And not, the survival of the species against this great threat. Like that's, what the fuck? Okay, so for one thing, Troy Baker deserves to be given his own game to make. Alright, this is like what people have been saying that they should have done with the Star Wars sequel trilogy. They just give the actors a story to make. Like, they help make it like they want to see it. Just to see how it would go. But I want to see Troy Baker given that opportunity. He deserves to give it his own game, where he can really take center stage like he did in The Last of Us 1. Because the main reason I think The Last of Us 1 works so well in terms of its story is because of Joel. Because Joel is just that good of a fucking character. And 2, yeah, Naughty Dog, you're fucked. You're fucked in the eyes of everyone. Alright, I'm not saying that what this leaker did was 100% in the right, because there maybe were people in Naughty Dog who were fine with what they were working on and didn't really care about the external politics going on with everything. I can understand that bit, but if the leaker was getting screwed over, like so many others have been screwed over at the company, like I think it was a month ago actually, a guy said that he had to sign a waiver not to say anything. Like I can understand that he would want to fuck the company over because yeah, the employees do have a decent bit of power when it comes to these situations. You fuck over employees hard enough, they will come at you and they will come at you hard. They will fuck you up. And that's really what I applaud this leaker for doing is fucking up Naughty Dog. They deserved it. They deserved a kick in the dick. Right? You get rid of Amy Henning, or at least you drive her away. And I'm not even sure if she's made a game in the last few years because her EA Star Wars game got fucked over because EA decided, no, instead of trying to fix the production cycle issues, let's just destroy Visceral. You know, the people who made Dead Space, and then had those people go make freaking Call of Duty games for the rest of the years until Activision decides they don't want to fucking do anything over there either. And you're not even bothering, like, and I just watched Oppaben's video on this earlier. He was talking about how, you know, Naughty Dog hasn't been doing that much really recently other than going all in on the pseudo-realistic, deep, gritty storylines of games like The Last of Us. And they aren't even focusing on remastering any of their older games like Crash Bandicoot, and they aren't even focusing on any of their old titles that haven't even had a title in like decades. Like they're just not doing anything. They're not going out there and trying to help, you know, their company have a lot more sustainability. And yes, I will agree. One of the big things about The Last of Us is, despite the fact that it has a really good story, it is a overhyped game. Alright, literally the only thing out of the gameplay that I like is the shooting and the crafting. Everything else, from the platforming and to the how the action is, other than the frame rate, doesn't really fit for me. Alright, gameplay wise, it is a very lackluster title. Alright, there's just not much there to really give the game much depth, and the only real thing that can give you a lot of difficulty in terms of the horror aspect are the clickers. There's not much else. Not that there can't, not that this isn't the case for everybody. A lot of people may think that the gameplay is pretty good, but most people don't. Most people think the gameplay is okay at best. So here's what I was thinking. Here's if I was in the position of Neil Drunkmann. Here's what I would have been doing with Last of Us. I would have been taking into account all of the criticism of the gameplay and trying to make something a little bit more open-ended. Trying to make something where you could do a lot more with your character's actions. You have a lot more control. You can do things that you probably couldn't be able to do in a lot of video games. Like you could make it to where it's a full-blown platformer and just, you know, make it to where there's a lot of secrets you can find, a lot more experimental, more experimental type of game. Try to make up for a lot of the faults of the first game's gameplay. And then with the story of the second game, you do a lot about Joel and Ellie's relationship. You actually have the game have something to do with them, where Ellie actually finds out about what happened at the end of the game when Joel decided to kill all the Fireflies and take Ellie away because he didn't want her to die because they were going to cut her head open to get the cordyceps cure. And it's just, they didn't decide to do those things. They decided to double down on the gameplay, which is more of a movie, because that's what the game is. It's a movie game. Instead of trying to actually make things more interesting in terms of the gameplay, make it less story-oriented in terms of everything. Like, tone down the story except for the cutscenes. Actually make the game more of a game. Have a lot more stuff that you can do. Even put in some RPG elements. You could do anything like that. But instead, they wanted to tell the story of bullshit. So that's what this game's story is from these leaks. is a bunch of bullshit. Okay? And like, I am completely sorry for the chick who plays Ellie and for Troy Baker. Alright, the chick who plays Ellie, alright, she had a lot of crap come out about her because, apparently her character is the same thing, looks the same as Ellen Page. And I can kind of see it, but, you have that. And then you have your character be used as LGBT bait in the DLC for the original game, where your character becomes a lesbian out of nowhere. And it's like, wait, what? I didn't get an inkling of any of this from the game at all. And then you're in this game, and then your character's shat on the whole time, along with the main character from the first game. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm just shocked that this has gone on like this for 4 fucking years. Well, wait, when did The Last of Us actually come out? I'm pretty sure it was towards the end of the PS3's life cycle. I just don't remember what year it came out. I think it was 2011 or 12. It's a 2013 game. Yeah, it was one of the last games on the PS3 Lifeline. So you've had 7 years in between both of these games, and it's getting pushed back again. You're pushing it back a bunch. You're treating your employees like shit. You're not doing anything to make your fans either care or actually feel good about the story, because apparently fun is a big no-no word in your development time. And not only that, you bring in Anita fucking Sarkeesian to come in and write this fucking story with you, or have some hand in the development of the story. Alright, seriously, I did not want to see anything in the story of the second game having to do with some random asshole coming in and trying to fuck shit up. I wanted to see what was going on with Ellie and Joel, and what the story would actually be. What would be the story? What would they do with the cliffhanger ending that we got in the first game, where Ellie asked Joel if they couldn't make the cure, and he said, "I swear." That is what I wanted to see out of the story. I wanted to see something about their relationship. I wanted to see how they would traverse the world as things age. But instead, you want to say some fucking bullshit. It's just fucking ridiculous, man. Never have I seen a game studio fucking act as incompetently as this. Like, this is ridiculous. This is such a slap in the face to anyone who cared about the story of the first game, or the characters, or the world. Alright, one of the big things about The Last of Us that I do appreciate was that it was more realistic to a point. Alright, you had a realistic explanation of why there are zombies in this universe. You had a more realistic take on how things would turn out many years after. You even do things like with what the cordyceps does when things age after they've infected people, and how it can, affect new hosts. There's a whole lot of stuff that you can do with this game in terms of this world building and the story. You can even do more stuff with the Cure storyline. But you don't do that because why? You're not even gonna focus on that at all in the second part? You're just gonna fuck over Joel and then have Ellie be a fucking placeholder for half the game. Yeah, and make her a fucking cuck. Make her cuck a guy. Fucking wonderful, man. Fuck you, Neil Drunkmann. Go eat a fucking massive bag of dicks. This is ridiculous. Like, this is a more boneheaded move than Bethesda not letting Mick Gordon mix his fucking tracks on the Doom Eternal soundtrack. This is stupider than EA not giving the Mass Effect developers for Mass Effect 3 enough time to make the game better. This is fucking more stupid Did Activision Blizzard fucking over everyone who was ever a fan of anything Blizzard related. This is even worse than them fucking over Bungie in certain aspects. This is ridiculous. This has got to be the biggest boneheaded move that I've seen out of the gaming industry in quite a while. And Neil, you made your bed. Go sleep in it. Thank you guys so much for listening to that rant. I'll talk to you guys later. Don't die. Fuck The Last of Us 2. Don't buy this piece of shit game. Don't do it. Doesn't deserve it.